All right, what's up, gang? Today is going to be a 37 tone equal temperament kind of day. I'm not in the greatest mood, mostly because of dystopia. So, of course, there's nobody here yet. But I'm going to put this over here. Let me grab. It's so weird starting these because initially you're talking to no one, then people start showing up. How is there a like but no person? Hey, Dotuzil's here. Never mind. Hi, Dotuzil. I don't know. I don't usually get to stream at this time because I'm teaching music lessons in the evening. But yeah, spread the word. Tell everyone. We're gonna go over why 37 is based. And I'm gonna show you how I've managed to put it on guitar. 37 TET skip fretting. That's right. Yes, ground is in. Perfect. Oh, sweet. Fitz friend too. All right. We've officially got a gang going on. Okay, amazing. So let me show you what the new material is. So I've got to get this done, of course, because the guitar is in this situation. I've been really enjoying the new Ichiko Aoba album because it's very colorful. If you don't know Ichiko Aoba, you can change that. I'm going to type the name in the chat. She's a Japanese singer. She's amazing. Her vocal quality is like the best thing ever. Why do I not have this thing? I should have this here. Oh, you know what? I think the sheet might be smaller than I thought. No. Hold on. I put it in a different folder. Because what I've got written down, I'll show you what I have. Let me see if this is it. Yes! Okay. So, we have an interesting paper with extra drawings on it. And these are, this is like a chord sheet that I used for playing Ichiko Aoba's new song Luciferen live at a brewery. And these are just the normal 12-tone equal tempered chords, but you can also see that I've written down things in 37-tone equal temperament. What does the paper taste like? Paper doesn't make you sick on its own. I've been saying that because it's from I Think You Should Leave. But then I said it to my mom and she didn't know that I was being sarcastic, and she was like, yeah, it does. So anyway, okay, so we're going to discuss how 37 is really great. Here's what I've done. 37 is bass tuning, and on my guitar, you see very good ground. Right here, we've got a pencil stuck under the bridge and an eraser. So that's because this is a guitar that's in 19-tone equal temperament. And I am using skip fretting to play it in 37-tone equal temperament. So I figured out a very specific piece of the chord progression that I'd want to play. And what's really nice about this song is that it's very arpeggiated. So it's almost impossible with skip fretting to get any kind of coherent position where you can play E and A chords and have all the fifths not be wolf fifths. So we're just going to have wolf fifths in 37. It's a really flat fifth. It's flatter than the 7-tet fifth, but I'm going to treat it as a dual fifth system just to get away with this. So there are some chords that are going to have wolf fifths in them, but they sound really pretty. So here, I should explain the bridge a little bit and then play a few chords and notes and things. So right here, if you've got the pencil and the eraser, well, you might see that normally when I stick things under the bridge to change it, it's like relatively big. Like this is a wooden dowel, and then I also have corks that do the same thing, but the corks are soft, which mean that if you hold down the string really hard, the soft material will squish and you can end up bending it a little bit more, and you kind of want it to stay in place. Yeah, 37 being a really good dual fifth system. I think so too, and I'll get to that in a second. There's some really interesting, there's something in 37 tone equal tempered notation that's really cursed. I looked on the wiki today and thought of something else interesting about the notation. We'll get back to the notation in a second because it's a gem. It's a unique object in the landscape of notating equal temperaments from 5 to 72, similarly to 11, 13, and 23. Okay, so the reason that I had to use this pencil is because if you put a wooden dowel and a cork under here, it raises the bridge enough that it becomes the next equal temperament. Or it goes an equal temperament lower, essentially. So, like, if I'd stuck this under here, it's big enough that the guitar plays like 18 tone equal temperament, right? So that doesn't work because we want 18 and a half tone equal temperament to get skip fretting for 37. So essentially what I have is, like, here's my top string, and then here's fret 18. Here's fret 19. Both of them are too high by just the right amount. So it's a very strange situation. And I figured out a lot about it by writing things down on paper and messing around. And I had to use this pencil and eraser because, like, there's a combo going on. Because the dowel fits on the guitar itself, but you can see that on this portion where the saddle is, like on the front of it, is its own little ledge. So if you want something that goes under the bridge but gets even closer to that saddle, you have to use a skinnier object. And then the eraser essentially keeps the pencil from falling down, and the tension all keeps it there. Hello, universe of music and abnormality and various other people. Let's see. We have 11 people. That's great. I'm really excited to play 37 tone chords for you on guitar. And this is going to be a really good one. It's going to have strings in it. I'm going to be playing cello and violin poorly, but that's what editing and post is for. And we'll also use the Lumitone and my fretless bass. It's going to be great. It's going to be like a whole big thing. And the reason it's going to be so great is because no one will ever do this in 37, probably ever. So I want to make it as big as possible without burning out. I think that would be pretty cool. And maybe I could add some other instruments. I don't know. It's just such a great, like, structurally, it's so hard for me to wrap my mind around because there are tried and true tricks in other EDOs that tend to almost always work. And in 37, they don't. And it's great. Does the flat fifth in 37 EDO make a flat tone temperament? That's a really good question. I actually have no idea. All of you in the chat know what to do. Hit up that wiki. My mom just sent me a picture of something fun. Let's see. National Chewing Gum Day. Oh, I get it. Okay, so we've got this stuff. And here, I'll show you with the strings, you know. So it's 18.5 tone equal temperament. So now let me show you how the initial chords would work. So in the start of the song, oh, maybe I should turn on the piano. I should do that just in case. So you'd have like do 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 do. Do 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 do. So the little riff that happens at the beginning and later in the song, it's moving between an F sharp major chord and a D chord. So over here, that would sound like this. And what's really nice about this song is for the chords that are acting like misfired dominants or lush 13th chords, the fourth is in it and not the sharp four. So it creates sort of an interesting clash on the inside. Like this, you have that chord and then the F sharp with like the B in it. So for 37 tone equal temperament, you get something really crazy. Now here's, I think what I'm about to describe here, what 37 tone does so well is the crux of why I enjoy it so much. And I'm sure some of you mathy people could describe the rippling effects of what I'm about to say. But let's describe something that we might have in notation. Like if you had a chord progression like C, F, G, C in standard like 12 tone equal tempered sheet music, in lots of microtonal tunings, you would tune those as primary triads in like a diatonic scale, right? And in notation, you almost always, unless it's a weird tuning that's a 5N or a 7N or some other crazy thing, you can usually slap an arrow on the thirds of all of those chords and arrow down to tune them justly. It's like 22 tone equal temperament is a great example. 27, 29, I think, maybe. You don't need it in 31 because it's a mean tone, blah, 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 blah. So there's a million situations where I've seen like a major triad and you just tune the thirds down with putting an arrow down on the major thirds or an arrow up on minor thirds, right? That's great. And this dynamic of reading sort of the root triad quality and then any other sevenths or extensions you might need is helped by quarter tone accidentals, because if you learn the quarter tone accidentals, they additionally give you information that there's a note that is in between two other things, which is even more. And that's great because like I was something you should do after this. This is very silly. It's actually related to 38 tone equal temperament. I forgot that you can notate 38 tone with quarter tone accidentals, like 19 times 2. And I actually should have done it in my Brian Deister transcription, because then the C up Mixolydian key signature would be readable, because you would see that it either looks like C sharp Mixolydian, or C Mixolydian. So there's an example of how a quarter tone key signature can give you more information than an arrow-based key signature. And I've even seen that in things like 27, 41, and 34, you can combine quarter tone accidentals and arrow accidentals. And as long as you know that an arrow up is essentially below a quarter tone accidental, you can still read quality. So something like B half flat, D up, F half sharp, to me, is perfectly readable as a B half flat sounding major triad. Now, okay, so the first level, right, is just like reading chords in general, right? And then the next level is tuning thirds once you're familiar with that. And that's a tiny tweak in logic that you can put in. Then the next level after that is incorporating quarter tone accidentals into that language, which already exist and are quite familiar and used almost everywhere. And then you have 37. And this is because 37, in its Pythagorean scale, when you alter the Pythagorean major third to become the closest major third, you have to do it twice. And quarter tone accidentals are allowed in the tuning, but they don't give you that standard reading of a root, a down major third, and a fifth, if you try to use the least amount of arrows possible. Now, if you go on the Zen Harmonic Wiki, they show you that accidentals can have 2 arrows. And so the list that I saw chose to use 2 arrows attached to naturals instead of reducing the number of arrows by having arrows attached to Stein-Zimmermann or quarter tone accidentals. So if you did that, it might even be more readable, even though it's putting in more arrows than you need, essentially. So you have to choose between putting in more arrows than you need or sticking arrows out of quarter tone accidentals, which you don't have to do in any of the other ones up to 72, as far as I'm aware. So 37 is completely unique because if you reduce the arrows down as much as you can, then the major chord is read as a root, a neutral third with an arrow up, and a fifth. Crazy. So that's why I find it to be such an interesting challenge. Let me show you what I've got for the intro here. So I actually don't know this fretboard very well because I had to go through a lot of trial and error to tune it. If you see my papers here, is anyone actually watching the video portion? If you are, take a look at this paper and take a look at the guitar chart that I have at the bottom, and then this other one here. You're not actually gleaning any information, but right here, like this one at the top, this is my 37 tone chromatic scale that I've written out because I definitely can't do it from memory. And this, I think, is the layout that I settled on. All of those guitar layouts and things that I'm writing out are different layouts that I tried that didn't work. So there's been a lot of experimentation going on here. Now, normally, there's a section. I don't know any of the Japanese, but here's a section of the song that I'm going to translate for you. So those chords are G sharp 7, G, B7, G, and then like an E7 with its fourth in it, and maybe a 13th. That section E7 moves to C, and then F sharp 7 with its fourth in it. So the last few chords in that sequence all have a movement where they start as a dominant seventh chord, but instead of resolving a fourth upwards, they resolve to like the root that is a minor sixth up. And it's very colorful and pretty. And I think the first time that I heard it, what happened was I was listening to it and I was thinking that one of those dominant chords would resolve properly, but all three of them don't. So because usually when you hear something like that, maybe like in a popular style, you might think, oh, it's going to resolve properly pretty soon. They're just having a color moment coming back. But in Ichiko Aoba's music, it's all a color moment, right? So here's how it sounds in 37. Hopefully y'all can hear. Now keep in mind, this is the wolf fifth right here. It doesn't sound as weird in this register. I can bend it up to a proper perfect fifth. Oh, wait. There we go. And then, so you can hear it. Now if I play it like that, basically the open fifth is the most obvious sour element. But because of how this bridge is done, there's something about it that kind of, I think, mutes the sound of it and makes it a little bit less offensive. So this is working out idiomatically. Yeah, go lefts. You like the fifth. I like the fifth too. It's great. Okay, so here is my fretboard, if you are ready. This string, the bottom string, is tuned to E up. The next string is tuned to A up. So these are a fourth, which means that I get fourths in these positions, right? But, hey, thanks. But here's the thing. I can't get a fifth from it. If I try, I get this. And you can tell that that's narrow. Just a little sour. It really doesn't sound that bad. I don't know. I think some wolf fifths sound worse. Maybe I'm crazy. But it totally works with other chords. So we're going to get real wolf fifty. And part of it is because of the physiology of doing a skip fretted 37 tone guitar. Okay, so we did that, right? So we have E up, A up, and here's D. So this is an up fourth, right? That's not in tune, but I can get a fifth here. So I'm able to also play like a unison there. So we can get a fifth from the fifth and fourth strings, but we get a down fifth or wolf fifth from E up and B. Okay, next, the third string is G up. So D and G up are also an up fourth. Oh, sorry, but I can get a fifth here. Nice. Next, after G up is B. So that's not. It's slightly wider than 37's closest major third, but I can still get the fifth. Oh, or can I? No, I can't. Just kidding. But I can get the octave here from this open string. But that's not enough. I have to bend it up a little more like this. You can hear that a lot more, right? Okay, last one is E up. Also an up fourth. Now that one works. B and F sharp can happen here. Okay, Can you do intervals with the 11s because the 11 is just I don't know. I actually haven't been working with the 11 that much. I haven't needed it for this pitch language. But now let me show you how the opening vamps sound. So here, what I've got in my skip fretting situation is I'm able to play. This fretting has given me enough chords that I want. That essentially, like, I'm having to compromise between playing notes that are sort of in the same realm of being 2/37ths of an octave apart, close to each other, and getting fifths. Because, like, if you have two notes that are fourth apart, a legitimate fourth apart, you can get its fifth. But then if you reach its fourth, a lot of the other, well, let's see. I'm trying to think about how to say this correctly. I guess what I would say is, like, if you are playing a major third in 37, and this is the closest one, so it would be, a neutral up, right here, the closest major third, you don't get the perfect fourth next. You get something slightly less. And then the same is true with your next note. You get an up fourth, like something that's like an ultra major third, and a minor third. So that's why I think the skip fretting in 37 is inconvenient compared to the obvious panacea of something like 41. So it's a more interesting challenge for me when everything's not just handed over. I have a minor third, a major third, but then these aren't the fourths that I would ordinarily have. So this the A string, or the fifth string, is a little bit out so that I can account for any circumstances where I need a fourth through playing other chords. So I know my explanation really isn't making sense, but basically a lot of these higher strings, like these four highest ones, they have a lot of the same notes in like a 2 out of 30, 2/37ths of an octave skipping area. So like if I, play something like, I can still play this D, right? Right? So I can kind of get a lot of those notes. So another thing I did was at the very bottom of the page on the paper here, which I'm holding up, I wrote a chain of all of the intervals 2/37ths of an octave apart so I can know what I can get. Okay, now finally I'm going to show you the chords. Okay, so here's how it would sound in 37. And the idea is that I have a major third here, but this F sharp, it goes down to F half sharp up to make a minor third with A. So let's think about that for a second. F sharp, the normal F sharp note is making a major third here, and in order to get it to be a minor third with A, you have to move it down, which is, it's more of a move than it usually is in a microtonal tuning. So here's the main sort of vamp. Right? So if I just have the major third here and do a wolf fifth here, it definitely gives a little bit of spice in the rung chord. But it sort of dies away quickly, the wolf fifth. I think it works. Now this is because I can only get that in this position, right? I can't get this one without bending. So that's the situation I'm in. So that gives me like a major third, a wolf fifth, an octave up there, and then this really small fourth. But since it's arpeggiated as a passing tone, it doesn't matter as much. Oh, I guess a lot of people left because of the wolf fifth. Good. Now we have a D chord. And I just love this so much. Here, let me play the F sharp chord and then the D chord. Do you hear that top note changing? So that top note is like the F half, no, it's F sharp at the top, and then it's changing to F half sharp up. So I'm singing that note out loud. Now something really great happens when we try holding down an up fourth. Yeah, it is crazy ground. I agree. That's why I love it. Right here, when I hold this up fourth from the genuine major third of the chord, whoop, sorry, like that. This note coming down one, if I get the major chord here, the 2/7 I get here are both not the 5 limit ones for the D major chord. So here, if I move it down 2/37 of an octave, haha, spicy, right? I get a chord where I have a high major seventh, kind of like a, well, it wouldn't be a Pythagorean major seventh. It'd be in between a Pythagorean major seventh and a just major seventh. This, and then the pure major third up here. So that makes, an up fourth there, but it's kind of a pretty weird quality. Pretty as in it is weird, and also it is a pretty chord for the ear. Unless you hate cool chords. And in that case, unsubscribe. So right here, right, we have this, and then here's the next one. And then if I go down one here, I have C half sharp proper. So here, if I play this chord, this has a neutral seventh, a perfect fifth, and a major third. And so this is an up fourth here. But this sounds really pretty right here, right? I think the major third is flat enough and the up fourth is convincing enough as a fourth that you may miss that neutral seventh if you're not careful and think that it's a major seventh, because in many microtonal contexts, the major seventh is low enough to almost be a neutral seventh. So that's a very exciting chord quality, I think, for me. Now, something else has happened with the intro that's kind of cool. So let me sing the melody best I can with 37 intonation. So this seems like the natural note, but you can also have this one, the neutral one. And I think if you do the neutral one, what happens is here, or wait, sorry. Oh, can't count. Or can I? Oh, yes, I can. So this F sharp chord we had earlier, if I take that wolf fifth and go down, it becomes, I think, a little bit obvious that this note is flat enough. Those sound secondy, right? It becomes obvious that this new shade on the D major chord is flat enough that it doesn't make a third with the third of the F sharp chord. So it should be more this distance. So the other interesting thing is that if I play this intro and then here on the D chord, if I want to play the second, the major second above it, let me see if I can get anything. 1, 2. Okay, let me count first. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah. See, it's not split evenly. So right here, this is an E up. So if I try to play it as an open string, it actually will be... Never do that. It sounds high enough that it's like a minor third, right? But it's also a little bit wolf fifthly. So it's a wolf fifth and it's a susceptible minor third from there. So I think what happens is if I play this how I would normally play it on guitar and have all the open strings and get as close as possible, I will use the same C sharp twice. And then I'll play it again for you, and I'll use the lower C that creates a neutral seventh with the D chord, and you'll hear a big difference. Like this. Nope, sorry. Right. So you have that with this high one in the D. Because normally it would be. Let's see if I can find this. Oh yeah, this one I can't get a fifth above the A because of the up fourths. But I can settle for this, and this is a wolf fifth. Corrected it, uncorrected. Here we go. Can you hear when I'm playing the wolf fifth and I bend the note up to correct it to a normal fifth? You guys can hear that, right? Can everybody hear that? Ooh. So that sounds acceptable enough to me, but the fifths are different qualities. So if I were playing the real major second up that I wanted, instead of playing this, just because it's open, I would play this. That very next note is same as the open string. So it turns out the exact note I want is in between here and here, if I were just doing normal fifth bass stuff. But I am accepting wolf fifths. Okay, here we go. Let me play those two things again. Okay, there's the first one. Now let me play it with the low C sharp. Ah! So you have that chromatic movement. So what do we think? Is that too zen or is that exactly right? Because later I will be doing this with the lower C sharp. It sounds more pleasant harmonically than having the major seventh that's in between Pythagorean and five limit. Like that, right? That's a good sound though. I think this sounds more major seventh-y than this. But they both, they have their own different sound worlds. I guess I'm asking the chat for feedback and nothing is happening. So it's probably time to leave. Let me see. Before I leave, let's see. Oh, actually, you know what? I do want to play the chords in the other part. Let's see. All good to my ears. Maybe I'm just so bored with 12 TET. Yes, join the club. Right here. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to play the intro with the down major second instead of the up major second. Because another thing I noticed is like if you play this, if you have this, that's that open high major second, where this is too high to be the right fifth. Right here, if I do the high C sharp here, that harmonizes well with this. And categorically, it sounds right. But if I have this, and that neutral second gets there, I think what happens to my ear is if you've got this minor chord, or this septimal minor chord, and then you put this neutral second here, it takes on the quality of a minor major seventh instead of a like fifth based chord with a seventh in it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why if I do this, it's gonna have to be like really intentional or really careful, or maybe I should just do it every single time. The most zen version every single time. Would that be okay with people? I think it would be. Wow, I'm spitting fire here and everybody's leaving. That's crazy. Remind me to do something boring next time. Oh, yes, another person left. Okay, let's do, what should we do? I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, let's play this with the lower major second. I'm going to see if I can do it. keep forgetting that it's that distance. That one definitely, with the wolf fifth here, it definitely sounds more like a stack of 2 perfect fifths here, right? Okay, let's try it again. I'll play it better. Okay, we got that kind of sound. Now let me try it with the low C sharp. Habla español. Mi español es mal. All right, we got some microtones going on. Come on. That should be wider. Let me try that again. Nope, sorry. That's interesting. I think maybe I should keep the low C sharp because melodically it's just so weird leading back in. All right, here's the last thing I want to show you all before I leave. Unless people have questions. Oh my goodness, I love questions so much. Please ask me questions about 37 or ground, if ground's still here, because ground knows about 37 a lot. Okay, so the part that I played for you earlier that has like B7 in it, I'm gonna try and play that on 37 tone guitar here and hum the melody. So we got oh shoot. Fa menor. Let's see. I'm of Argentina. Okay, see. Toco la guitarra. I don't know what toco means, but I do know la guitarra means guitar. Okay, this is the one I forgot. I'm playing a special E7 up here, because if it was down here, it would be the same shape as the B7 I played, and the extremely unique fretting locks me into a particular shape, and I wanted a unique, different shape here to take advantage of the open string so that the quality of the dominant 7th wouldn't be exactly the same. Let me see if I can play all these in a row, because this is an example of chords that are really hard. So I know how to play them all in a row. I just haven't done it enough times to just go back and forth. But I'll keep practicing it. So right here, let's see. Come on. Did I get it? And then no aprender mucho English. Yo no aprende. I don't understand very much English. See. Let's see. Okay, let me try this again. Let's see. Seeing that 5th as I have a weird 6th on top is odd. That's the D I have to get. And then, oh, right, it's all the way up there. This is the high octave. Okay, got this, right? So what's interesting is I'm actually singing major seconds over the chords that are low enough that they make a wolf 5th with that chord's 5th. And that's why, like, the fretting of the guitar is informing everything. So see here, I can play a full C major chord in 37 tet with all the right tuning. And here, with this C, it's actually C up. C up to D, it's not C up to D up. Right? So if I were to play D up, I would have a perfect fifth with G up. Let's see, what's your name? My name is, do you say that? Jer? Jair? My name's Steven. And I like microtones a lot. And I also like playing piano and just being a general mystic and not being obvious about everything. And weird other things. Okay. So you got C here. Let me try that one more time with the chords. This is the sequence. Okay, so now notice this is something I'll highlight in the writing. But this G chord here, this D, which is technically D up, is going to go up to D half sharp in this next chord. And that makes, like, what's really interesting about this dominant seventh chord here, bye, is it's not actually the Pythagorean minor seventh. It's actually more like a neutral seventh. But it works with the third because they sound like they're a tritone away. If you take the Pythagorean minor seventh and put it with the minor third, they're so far apart that it doesn't sound like a dominant seventh. Right? Isn't that crazy? So here is the closest. Well, and then this is a wolf fifth. So if I moved it, that would be better. Yes, Zen Philip. This is a skip fretted guitar that is using 2/37ths of an octave on the fretboard. I've hacked the 19-tone guitar and essentially made it play an 18.5 tone equal temperament just to play an Ichiko Aoba cover in 37. So now I'm guiding everyone through the planning process. And people are leaving, so I'm probably going to delete this one. We'll have to see. So right here, here's the chord sequence that I've got. Now here's something really, really cool. Yeah, everywhere I look at 37, oh, it's Cole. Hi, Cole. Everywhere I look in 37, there's this enharmonic chord. It's great. It's great. It's almost like 18, but it is ostensibly a super Pythagorean system. Bye. Appreciate you showing up, BRN. You keep saying bye. Okay, great. But you can stay as long as you like. You don't have to leave just because you're saying bye. Okay, great. So here we go. Chord sequence. I'm going to try and hum that D that goes from the G chord to the E up, with like a dominant seventh quality chord, even though it's not really a dominant seventh because the Pythagorean minor seventh isn't used in the chord because it doesn't make the right tritone with the major third, which also isn't just one alteration away from the Pythagorean major third. Yay, 37 is so great. Okay, here we go. You got I think it's nice because each chord movement is flat enough that when I sing the like down ninth over it, it's going to be weird enough to heighten that color change. And then there's also various tonality flux between voices in the chord to make it interesting as well. So it's kind of interesting on every level because it's like in a lot of tunings, I think if I try to use tonality flux between the voices, I'm like, oh, they're all moving the same amount. They're all moving amounts that I know about and can understand and can readily grasp. But in 37, it's kind of like if I make a 5-note chord and I'm moving to another 5-note chord, I'm like, oh, This voice is moving by 1. This voice is moving by 2. This one's moving by 3. This one shouldn't be moving this way. And this quality isn't lining up how I thought it would be. Zen, 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 zen. Let's see. General question, but how do you even sing in all these tunings? I have just been practicing for a long time, and I have a good sense of pitch with microtonal intervals, and I also would say that I allow for roughness and inexactitude, which will let me freely float around. So I think a lot of it might be I don't really have 37 internalized in any meaningful way, but like I know enough microtonal intervals that like if someone asks me a general type of microtonal interval, I can sing it. So in that sense, I'm prepared to deal with most any tunings unless the situation makes it really obtuse to understand. And I also am really reactive. So I recognize quality quickly, and I think that's one of the secrets to my ear training. Like if you play a chord progression for me in 12 tone equal temperament, I'll know what it is on a first hearing if it's not complicated. And if it is complicated, it'll take me a little bit of effort. So especially if you like voice things how people don't normally voice them with like if you were to put like minor ninths in the chord instead of major sevenths, as is traditionally done in jazz chords, that would be harder. Rick Beato has a cool video about that, actually. There's a video where he like sat some guy down who's really good at taking apart chords, and then he played them in the wrong order and voiced the minor ninths instead of the major sevenths. And the guy figured it out way slower. I feel like that would happen to me too. So it's really cool about singing in the microtonal tunings is that I feel like if I know the intervals well enough, I know what kinds of intervals sound like, and I know the tunings well enough that like if I see a minor third, just written out as a Pythagorean minor third in 22, I'm like, that's a Pythagorean minor third, so I should sing it a little bit on the flat side. And all of that little like massaging and adjustment is enough to get close. And I'm also like, if I'm singing something really hard, what I'll do is I'll take something and I'll just memorize it on the spot and then sing it as a fragment. And sometimes my instinct might compete with what I'm hearing in interesting ways. That happens to me often in something like 26 tone equal temperament. Let's see, there's more questions. 37 is about as big of a full EDO tuning I think I'll ever be able to manage well. Yeah, it's a great tuning. I'm trying to sing on my Grelbum too, and it's so hard in 37. Yes, I am noticing that when I transition between these chords, I'm trying to get on that lower ninth. Wow, hard to get, right? But it's all about, I think, just hearing what you did and comparing. So I think like I can even try doing something like, that's a lower one, right? Right? Oh, that's not the you need this one. So there I was trying to sing like a down major second over the chord and then like a major second over the chord. So they definitely have different vibes. I think down major seconds can sometimes sound like neutral seconds, and you can get that at 19. It's also like the more tunings you play in, the more you know how categories can warp into each other. Let's see. What kind of function systems do you use for 37 EDO? I don't assign functions to anything until after I hear them. And I also don't think that microtonal systems are generally highly functional because they don't have a common practice around them. So a lot of it ends up sounding like generally pretty non-functional harmony. You can name, any kind of phenomena you can describe, but without some kind of tradition behind it, it's not going to carry as much weight as like saying, oh, the mediant is going to the subdominant. That's just something you have in diatonic practice. I think general functions are much better for me. So like tonics, predominance, and dominance, and then auxiliary functions. And then you could have, secondary dominants as well, which often are like predominants, or you could consider them part of the same category, depending on what you're doing. I'd say that it also depends on your level of resolution. Like, do you have specific things that you're going to? And if you don't, then you also have less of a concept of function. So a lot of it just depends on what music you're listening to. Let's see. My function system is vibes. I'm somewhat non-functional myself. Heck yeah. I'd say, like, if I were analyzing the Ichiko Aoba piece, it's essentially it's kind of like it's in D, but any of the cadences that would normally lead to it landing in D either get there extremely backwardly, or they land on F sharp instead, and you get this cool moment. One of the coolest riffs. Oh, I haven't played this on the guitar yet. On the 37 tone guitar, but let me see if I can do it. Let's see. Right here, you have like F sharp, D, C sharp, and A sharp. And in the music, the D sharp kind of holds through reverberantly. So it mainly sounds like an F sharp major chord, but you get this tiny little hint of D, which legitimizes sort of the augmented sensation of a D augmented triad sort of buried in there in 12 tone equal temperament. So I'm hoping I can carry that mystique through in 37 tone equal temperament. I think it should work pretty well. Fitzgerald's use of 37 black die in his bittersweet end is really idiomatic. That's interesting. Let's see. Oh, yay! A Vaxar, you found me from the Kafta. I can't say Kaftafada. Oh, no. I don't know how to say it. Yeah, I transcribed that, and I've been transcribing some other stuff, and here I am trying to get back into covers. Now, here's one more thing I want to try. Going between these chords. Too high. Now on that note, it was too high because I'm so used to 12 tets E7 going to C that I was like, oh, for a high second, I should basically think that's C and adjust slightly when I get to the note. But it was too high, so I have to expect this C as being low enough. And that would be an example of good ear training, even though I made a mistake, because I didn't just make a mistake. I identified what it was within myself that caused me to make that mistake and adjusted against it. And that's very hard to do because I think sometimes you have to be really observant and you also have to be brutal on yourself. Two things that don't often go together. So that's another secret to my ear training. So now I know that when I go to this chord, there we go. And now the down. Yeah, different, just a little bit different. Okay, great. Let's try some seconds. Going here. Let's see. I don't even know these. Gosh, dang it. Okay. Another thing is that here, with this D half sharp, for the E up chord, it goes all the way to D. So it's essentially down a neutral second like this. So that's really cool that D is moving that far in these chords. Let me try this again. Right? You hear it? So here, let me try this again. I'm going to go from the E chord to the C chord, and this time I'm going to try singing the low major second, which is what I want, and then I'll try singing the higher major second. Right? And then let's do this again. These are the kinds of things I'd be practicing to myself. Yay, I did it! Okay, so that would be an example of something I would practice because, like, specifically, I noticed that maneuver is hard for me. So what can I do? You know, that kind of thing. But yeah. Dang. I feel like this was kind of a useful stream. I don't know. Maybe we'll keep it. I'm not sure. But I do feel like bomb 37 tone stuff should be for people who show up only. Who knows? But anyway, it's kind of nice that I can just like straight up play a C chord here. It's crazy. Not too different than 2210. By the way, all the open chords are essentially destroyed. Let me see. Oh, let's try and play as many open chords as I can. Here's D. D works. Great. We can't get the normal major second at all with the skip fretting pattern. And then we have C, of course. Although this is actually C up. So like this C and this D here. are actually 2, 4, 6/37ths of an octave apart and not 7. Okay, so those are those. Let's see if we can do G up. Probably not. I guess this major third doesn't sound too bad. Even though technically it's not the right one. It would need to be 1/37th of an octave lower. But I'm just going to accept it. Let's see. We'd have to get a wolf fifth here. And actually, that's the same as a Pythagorean minor sixth. But it's a wolf fifth now, because we're in 37. And that'll work, having this here. Or will it? G up. Yeah, this is G up. That works. And then that's B. G up. Okay, so here's G. It's made with wolf fifths. Something that sounds like a fourth in there. Oh, I think it's because B and D are so close together. Doesn't quite work. Sounds too super major. Interesting. Okay, so we figured out C. We have D. And for G, we have something wolfy that doesn't function correctly. With wolf fifths. That doesn't sound too bad for wolf fifths, right? Let's see. Let's do A. Oh, with A, we can't get a fifth. How close can we get? It's the A string that we had to sacrifice the most on. I'm not going to count the unisons, but here's A up with A, and then A up with A half sharp down. So both of these frets are wrong for it. So we're not going to do A. Let's find E. So E won't give us the right fifth. It'll give us a wolf fifth. Kind of wish I have a 10 EDO instrument, but all the Zen instruments I have are Kermi 5 ED7 panpipes. All of them? That is an insanely obscure tuning to have a lot of. That's hilarious. I love that. Let's see. Unless that is a joke, of course. Let's see. So E up is here. Oh, no. There it is. If we can get the roots to be in unison, I'll count it as a chord. I'm okay with wolf fifths. Okay, we've got this. Hey, that's not bad. Okay, we can't get a fifth here. It's going to be a flat one. But here's E with wolf fifths on 2 strings. Are we ready? Here we go. I've heard 12 TET guitars that people pretend are in tune sound worse. I mean, there might be something to this wolf fifths thing. Okay, so now here are common chords. C, G, D, and then finally we have E. It's so weird because when I'm playing this E, I have to play it like the D minor shape. And D is already like a D minor shape. I'm used to that from 22 TET, but it's really weird. But yeah. Okay, here, let me play all these 3 just one more time. So you have C, G, D, and then E. Message retracted. see. Okay, great. I hope everyone who showed up has enjoyed me just rambling about my 37 TET skip fretting, and I'm really excited for the video. And there's a lot of other stuff that I'm having to do that's not that, but that's the fun part. So hopefully I'll get to do it soon. Wouldn't it be so cool if I could just like, if people just institutionally like paid me to make the stuff that was really rare and inspiring, like all that kind of thing? Yeah, like I feel like I've been doing it for so long that like anyone who's familiar with what I've been doing really trusts that process. And then uh, a lot of people, it's hard because I'm doing a lot of things. So if you just check out one thing, like I understand how this is because like when I check out people, I usually only have time to check out one thing. So I never want to be that person that assumes that that person's only capable of one thing. But so often I feel like people stick to few things, but I'd be remiss if I didn't plumb the entire catalog of a particular artist before saying, I want to listen to something else. But there's lots of things I do want to listen to. Oh, okay. If there aren't any requests from the chat, I'm going to just say albums I'm excited about and then go, probably. Okay, let's see. All right. I'm really excited about Maddie Ashman's new album, Otherworld. There may be a Now and Zen episode in the works about it. Hint, hint, hint. Tigran Hamasyan's new album, of course. Got to hear him play it some live. Ben Hurtman has a new album, Spiral Garden. Can't wait to hear that. He noted that it was microrhythmic too, in addition to being microtonal. So I don't know how much of it is live, but that's kind of cool. Someone told me there's a Fred Armisen sound effects album that I would like or hate. So I'm excited about that. Maybe it'll accidentally cross over into being avant-garde through sheer sound design. Now that's what I want to see. A lot of the great things I get out of avant-garde music sounds are the same things that like you'd ask yourself as a sound designer if you were creating a great sound. Like, is it rich? Is the timbre evocative? Is it realistic? That kind of thing. It would be really funny if people who hated avant-garde music just like weren't allowed to listen to movies with any sound design in them at all. So it's just dialogue. That'd be kind of funny. Let's see. I also really like, there's a certain Wadada Leo Smith improvisation that I'm really into. The Chimera one just seems like it's head and shoulders above. I also really liked VJ Ear and Wadada Leo Smith's new like jazz ambient album. It's quite beautiful. I didn't go see it at Big Ears because I felt like it wasn't a huge exhibition of the performer's talent, but it was certainly a really masterful blend of genres, I think. Challenge, played by Ati in 37. Nope. Let's see. Oh, I need to listen to the Stephen Altoft album, 24 Microtonal Studies, with that trumpet of his. That'll be great. I still haven't listened to the new Yasmin Williams album. I'm really into Julia Holter. She's great. She's doing like pop music, but is ballsy enough to do things like change the tempo and add tasteful dissonance and make it all about the feeling. It's great. It's really fun. Let's see. I also am super excited about Chris Davis's new jazz album. She played Little Footsteps live, and that was great. Wishy. I don't know if anyone's heard of Wishy, but they're a prog band. Well, not prog, but they're they're shoegaze. I meant to say shoegaze. I don't know why I said prog. They're a shoegaze band from around here, and I went to college with one of the guitar players, and they're doing really well. They put out a new single. Sounds pretty good. Lemon Twigs guy, Brian D'Addario, he has a new album. It's pretty good. It's definitely still got songs that only people from the Lemon Twigs could have written, but it's not on the level of some of their earlier albums, I don't think. But there's lots of good stuff in there. It's really colorful, and I think the orchestration has been more interesting in previous albums, but some of the charts are just as interesting as normal Lemon Twigs songs. And of course, the new Ichiko Aoba album, Luminescent Creatures. Yeah, I think that's most of what I have that anyone here would care about. Let's see. I love micro rhythm. Basically, always have. My DAW set to 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, or 15, even divisions of each beat. It's so cool in tuning to rhythm. Wow, you must have are you doing like really long beats, or are you making it unhearable and kind of subtle? I was surprised when sometimes I don't measure those things for myself, but I can come up with some interesting surprises. Like for example, in the Emoji album, which also has a new name, by the way, the Smiley album. Someone interviewed me and called it the Smiley album, and I thought that was just great. Let me show you the part that has what I'm thinking of in it. So right here in the one with pi equal divisions of 5 equal divisions of e. Oh my god, Bandcamp is saying not only that I have to pay for my own album, but also not recording that I have paid for my own album. That doesn't make any freaking sense at all. Anyway, there's this part that goes da 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 da. Like that part, that's like really fast, like bop, where the drums are going. It's kind of going like, it feels like it's going 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, but it's very secretly a septuplet groove that has a slight unevenness to it, and you can notice it, but you would never divide it in 7. Like that's that might be an example of maybe what you're up to. Let's see. It's effectively a ridiculously high BPM, and so I can become tonal so easily. Yep. I'd have to agree. Okay, I think it's time for me to go and probably delete this one, even though it was pretty cool. Are there any other remaining questions from people? Bye, sad face. Aw. I don't know any scales on this thing. I don't know if I'd be even be able to formulate them. Ah! Listen to this C up here. That's the one you want to listen to. I love it. What a great move. I wonder, the only thing I don't like about this F sharp going to like D major 7th that actually has a neutral 7th in it, because this is an up 4th, is because like this 4th is moving in parallel, and from a voice leading perspective that seems kind of basic. I don't know. But I really like where that lands. That didn't sound as zen as I thought it would. I don't know. I might be getting used to 37. What would happen if I did? That would be kind of crazy. I don't think I'll ever get used to 37, but it's certainly like there's all these other little tunings down here, and they're so small and they make sense, and they're just deviations of other ones, and then you have like 37 as this big mountain. I love it. I love 37. Okay. Well, I guess I'm officially leaving now, so I'll see you all some other time. Bye-bye.